Hello, I'm Roger, and I'm here with Chip Dog, and we are coming to you from the high desert of central New Mexico. You are watching Multiple Sclerosis, the monster inside me, my story.
Okay, welcome back. Today is February 9th, 2022. It's been almost a month since my last show, and I decided to do something different. I'm taking the show on the road for a couple of shows in a row, and today is no exception. I'm on the road, and I came to my friend Amy's house, and Amy has the monster multiple sclerosis, and we're going to talk with her here in a moment, but first I'm going to go through a couple of other things that's going on. I had an appointment today with my doctor, and it was just a my basic doctor, and we just talked about a few things. My daughter says I'm depressed, so I'm going to start taking an anxiety medication and kind of see how that goes. It's going to take a few months to find out if it works or not. But gosh, man, after being forced to retire, 4 brain surgeries, multiple sclerosis, I think I have a few things to be a little bit upset about. But I tried my best and try to have a good attitude. Bad attitudes are no way to live a life. And so I try to make the best of what I can. Before we get started with Amy, I want to talk about a couple things. The MS Walk is coming up in April. And if you're curious on what day your community is having an MS Walk, you can go to the website and look at that, and they will give you dates and locations of where all the MS Walks are being held. And we really appreciate your help and donations. MS is a bad deal, and there's really no good future in sight, but we're hoping that with the money that's donated, we can find a cure for MS so that we can all kind of live a normal life. I had a visit with my neurologist talking about my MS, and I'm going to be referred to UNM Hospital, and that way my neurosurgeon and my neurologist can share the same information, because when I get an MRI scan, I have to have the shunt in my head readjusted, and that's just not something anybody could do. So that's one of the things that I have to get taken care of. In the last show, I talked about a magazine publication that I get. It's called Momentum, and it's put out by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and it's full of information, and you can go back to my last show and look at that. But today I'm going to introduce you to another one, and this one is called Brain and Life. And I'll show a picture of it better. It's not multiple sclerosis specific, but it does talk about a lot of neurological issues that people have, and it's a pretty good publication to look at and check out. I would recommend getting it, and you can go to let's see, I have it written down here, brainandlife.org, in order to find this Brain and Life magazine and get yourself on the mailing list. It talks about a broad range of neurology for everyday living. So yeah, go there and subscribe for it. I think it'd be worthwhile. So on to my next topic. And I was invited, well, I kind of invited myself. Amy and her husband were gracious enough to invite me to their house so I could speak to Amy about her multiple sclerosis and give everybody an idea that everyone's case is so different. And I think Amy made the comment several weeks ago when I was talking to her phone that every case is like a snowflake. They're just so different. And that's why it's super hard to diagnose. But Amy, I want to thank you for being on the show. It's a pleasure having you. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things, and one of them is more common than people realize, and another one is less common than people realize. The more common one is you were bounced around from neurologist to neurologist trying to get a diagnosis.
Yes.
And so can you tell me a little bit about the frustration bouncing from neurologist to neurologist?
Yes. I was diagnosed in 2018.
Okay.
About a little over than 3 years ago. But I had symptoms for over 10 years before.
Oh, you were symptomatic 10 years before.
For at least 10 years before, and I've been seeing doctors. But in the beginning, the symptoms were mild, or just a little pain in my right thigh, and I had weakness in my leg.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think much of it, and I was misdiagnosed then, and I didn't think much of it. I went about, it didn't interfere with my life. Then in 2013, I had a massive neurological attack, this is what I call it. Lots of numbness and tingling, and my head was being squeezed hard, and everything in my body was not working right. But it lasted about 1 week, and it went away. Then, but it left me with some weakness.
And that was an MS attack?
That was an MS attack.
Yes, ma'am.
When I was diagnosed, it was diagnosed with primary progressive.
Primary progressive, okay, that's what I have.
Yes. So I started going to neurologist. And I had seen 5 neurologists, and only the last one diagnosed me accurately with MS.
Uh-huh.
I had seen 5 neurologists, 2 neurosurgeons, an orthopedist, a pain specialist with pain shots, and chiropractors. When I was desperate, I went to acupuncturists, at 2 of them. I had
Boy, that must have been
therapy.
That must have been super frustrating.
It certainly was. But I really didn't want to hear I had MS.
Right.
So-
Well, and I think the difference between you and I is I had a family history of MS. My sister died from MS. It'd be 10 years ago this year. And so when I was talking to the doctors, and I was having an MS attack myself, and when they were asking about family history, and I had mentioned that my sister had passed away from MS, that gave them something to go on. And it was 3 days after that I was diagnosed with MS. And so that was, I mean, if there was anything that came good from my sister's passing, was that she left me some family history that the doctors can go on. That was super hard. It still breaks my heart when I think about it today. I was holding her hand when she passed away, and when I was diagnosed, my heart just sank. But it's been a long time, and that was one of the things that was, I guess, good for me, is that I was able to be diagnosed quickly. Yeah. And I know you had a rough time, and you ended up at the Mayo Clinic in Minneapolis. Is that right?
No, the one in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, okay. Right. I know you had mentioned that, and I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yes.
And is that where you got your final diagnosis?
Yes, that's what I did.
It was. Okay. And so how long were you there at the Mayo Clinic before they diagnosed you?
I was there for a couple of days.
They did it that quick?
3 days,
huh?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, was just specialized MS clinic.
Okay.
And all he does there, that doctor, is MS, and maybe 1 or 2 other related to MS conditions.
Okay. Well, that was good that they sent you to an MS doctor, because he was able to figure it out.
After 4 people here.
Right. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, that's kind of one of the common things, is people being bounced around, going from neurologist to neurologist, trying to be diagnosed. And I've kept up with some of the websites and some of the chat rooms for MS people, and that's a common thing. One of the uncommon things was being diagnosed so late in life. That's just uncommon. And do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably what threw them all off.
Okay.
They were all looking at I have herniated disc in my lower back on the right side, the same leg that was hurting. And I think that everybody was focusing on that.
They thought that was causing your problems.
And may have been causing some problems.
Sure, of course. But it wasn't the underlying problem of your issues.
No.
Yeah.
And all of the doctors were, except for one, got impatient. But all of them were very nice. They tried. I would go to a new doctor and I would say, I'm looking for a doctor who's willing to take the time and make the effort to figure out what's wrong with me.
And just listen. Just
to tell him that, and all of them listened, they did tests, they tried, but nobody was thinking MS.
Right. Well, I was going to mention something and I forgot, but having 4 brain surgeries will do that to me. But yeah, so that's rough. I know that it's been tough, and so it's been 4 years since you were diagnosed?
Maybe 3 years and 5 months.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now I remember what I was going. I remember what I was going to say now, Amy. What kind of started me is when I was working at the public schools. It was February, and I was outside. It was still dark. It was early in the morning, and I was throwing salt out on the ice, and I took a hard fall, right on my behind, and ended up at the urgent care, and my back was bothering me for a few months, and then about a month and a half, I really started getting numb. And I really honestly thought that I had ruptured a disc, is what I thought it was. And when I went to the ER, I was numb from upper chest down to my feet. I could not feel a single thing. I could walk, and I had motor skills, and so I really thought it was my back. And when they looked at me, obviously they said, "No, it's not your back. It's all in your head." Right? So
Yeah.
Dad, it was all in my head. And my daughter tells me that. She goes, "Dad, oh, it's all in your head." And yes, you're right. It is. And I have a shirt that I wear sometimes, and it says, "Well, I don't look sick, and you don't look stupid." And a lot of times, MS patients are not recognized as being MS patients because the sickness is in here, and it's in here. It's not really visible. You know, it's tough. But so I think maybe we might think about calling this a show. Amy, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to come into your home
Thank you.
and talk to you. And I want to thank your husband Jack. He's around here somewhere, I think. I want to thank him for letting me come in and visit with you. My next show will be in a couple weeks. I'm going to go to Crested Butte, Colorado. And I'm a little nervous about that because I don't do car rides very well. And that's going to be a 6-hour car ride. So I'm a little nervous on how that's going to work, you know. But I'm looking forward to getting out of town and just going someplace away from home. I've been sitting in the house for too long, and I need to get out. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Last, I would like to say, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. If you liked what Amy had to say, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments, please leave them down below, and I will return them as quick as I can. Until then, I want to thank Amy again for joining me.
Thank you.
And then my next show will be from Crested Butte in a couple weeks. Thank you for watching.